Welcome to the Soul Tribe Podcast. The Soul Tribe Podcast was created to help you navigate through the world of spirituality, wellness, and self-development in an easy, grounded, and relatable way. We break down everything from the Akashic Records, manifesting, spirituality, and so much more. We want to help expand your boundaries and bring the spiritual world to you in a fun and easy way. Get ready to be inspired with tips, tools, and easy to digest information. Let's do this.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Soul Tribe Podcast. Today, Lorraine and I are here to talk about just discovering and learning more about your purpose and your mission via, for example, getting an Akashic Records reading.
Yes. That's a question I get a lot, actually. Mm-hmm. A lot of people come, I can only speak for myself, right? But a lot of people do come asking about their gifts, their purpose, their mission. And I think something people are very surprised a lot of times is that it's not necessarily linked to their job or what they should be doing for money.
Yes.
A lot of times it depends. Depends on the person.
Sometimes there are a lot of people that it is, right?
Yeah.
But some people it's kind of like you're here to express your freedom. Mm-hmm. Or you're here to, things like that, like things that are not tangible, where it's like you're here to kind of choose for yourself, or you're here to express your freedom, or you're here to, I don't know, like live a different kind of life that your soul hasn't had before. Sometimes it's just the choosing or the lifestyle or just enjoying things in this 3D world.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a part of like me feeling like my purpose and mission could be my work, but I know it isn't. I know for me it's the freedom. Being free and loving myself, those are huge parts of my purpose and mission here, and showing that to people so that people can also feel that way or heal that through the work that I do.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a huge purpose my job gives me to keep moving forward and learning and expanding. So there's a part of my soul contract in that sense, but it's more about the freedom and the happiness and the openness that I'm still working on that. I think there's parts of myself that limit myself, yeah.
And I think it could be twofold as well because, for example, we talk a lot about star seeds on the podcast. I think that sometimes star seeds are here to be like a higher frequency and to help or be part of like the human evolution. But at the same time, they have all this stuff from other lifetimes and past lives where it's like, I'm also here to express this and experience that. So sometimes it's not this one straightforward thing. A lot of things will come up when that person asks, what's my mission? What's my purpose?
Do you find that a lot in your readings that it's linked to past lives? Because I get that a lot.
Yeah, for example, like let's keep using freedom because we were just talking about freedom. Like I've had individuals where, and a lot of like women in this lifetime, so their souls chose to incarnate in women, in female bodies, and they had other lifetimes as females where they were very oppressed by like a male figure in their life, whether that was a father or an uncle or a husband, and they were here in this lifetime to kind of be their own sort of, say, boss. And so they're here to express freedom, but the soul's like, I need to do it it's going to be easy if I do it in a man body. I'm going to go back, be a female, but then figure out a way to feel like I'm choosing for myself using the female body again.
To be their own authority.
Yes, that's another way of saying it, yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
So that's just one example.
That's one example. I have so many, and I can't even remember because obviously when we channel, we always say when we're in a reading, we don't remember what we say to people, but that's a really good example, yeah. Where your past lives will have an impact on your purpose and mission. Why you're coming here.
Yeah. I've heard stories of people that were like, and this is something that really hits me personally, where their souls in another lifetime were falsely incarcerated. So they went to jail for their whole lifetime or like so many years because of something that they were considered guilty of, but they weren't really guilty of. And so the soul came back and goes, well, now I'm here to like be really free. And it's almost like they have the right to choose for themselves, but there's always this little trauma with me that comes up a lot. Like there's always this little trauma, and I'm always afraid that something's gonna happen. I'm gonna be falsely accused of something all the time. It comes up all the time, and you hear me say in the podcast a lot.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, like I even said like I would never donate hair because what if somebody goes and like buys my hair or gets my hair, right? Because you donated once, right?
Yeah, I did.
So I wouldn't do that
last year
because what if that person commits Like, is a serial
For me, it was
killer
like
commits
really,
a crime.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But it's not a rational thing. What I'm telling you,
That's
It's
not
just-
from this life.
No, of course not.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I've watched documentaries where it's like people falsely incarcerated, and I feel like I like a panic attack. I feel like I'm like, oh my god, that's like the worst thing that could happen to me. Like, I'm obviously carrying something, right? Well, I know I am. I'm carrying something. Yeah. But that's another example of like my soul, where I'm really here to be free, and nothing's gonna stop me. And you can see that in the way I am as well.
Oh yeah.
Like, the second that I feel like something's got me semi-trapped, I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah,
right?
it feels worse than for somebody else that's
Yeah.
going through the same thing.
So I already know my purpose is to leak a lot of love into the world, and I'm here to like be a messenger as well. Like, I know that, but as well, I have this. It's like there's personal purposes that are not so much generalized. So you might have a purpose that's for the collective, but then you might have a purpose that's a personal one. It might be more than one thing.
Oh, it could be more than one thing. Yeah, I like that you said that, because I feel like sometimes you're expecting this one great grand thing, and really your soul's here to do a lot of things and complete a lot of things. And that goes into your soul contract, and that goes into a lot of your own personal lessons for maybe karmic, past life, but also what your soul feels it still is like needs to learn and make light and expansion in. But going back to what we were saying before, that for some people their purpose and mission could be very much linked to a type of work or job. I want to say work because it might not feel like work or a job for the person.
Do you know, like, before you say that reminds me of Dad had a friend, and Dad's friend's like, work is so awful. It's so awful. They have to pay you to do it. I always remember that guy. Always. Anyway, sorry, go on. Work.
That sometimes, our purpose and mission can be linked to work. In a sense, I do feel like part of my purpose and mission is that because my work now allows me to set people free, but also allow me to feel free. Because it does, I feel like a lot of the work that I do with people is helping them see their gifts, helping them move through their limiting beliefs and really just love themselves enough and to push past fear or insecurities, to get the courage to move forward. Part of what we do in the community as well, we push each other to just like get out of our comfort zone. We're interviewing our members.
Yeah.
They're offering their own services and gifts to the rest of the community. It's beautiful.
And I love how they're like embracing it, and how it's like, maybe it's because it's also a safe group where you feel
safe.
like you can do a reading, and even if you're wrong, the person's still going to love you and there's going to be no issues. Maybe that's it. But it throws you into the water. It's perfectly, it's perfect, right?
It's literally such a supportive energy that people, that's the thing. I think sometimes when we're starting on this journey, especially as like healers or channelers or anybody that has a gift that needs to like move into that because they're feeling called, I think a lot of times it's scary to share that with people because you're afraid that, of the failure or messing up or doing it wrong. And the reality is, when we're practicing something, even if it's a gift, it doesn't have to look perfect, but we need to find the people to support us. And that for us was really important when we started creating the community of like making sure it felt safe for everybody, because we're all figuring it out. Like we're not perfect, and we can all have a bad day, or something might go wrong, or sometimes it's not even about us. It might be about the day that we're doing that session or that reading or that connection, we're off and we didn't realize it, right? So, it's not that has to happen, but if it does happen, that there could be people that can understand that and support us, and then we can recognize it within ourselves, because there might be a lesson in that, of course. But going back to the work or the job aspect of it, a lot of people, I think in our community and the people that come to us for readings, a lot could be linked to that, because they see the journey that we've been on and how we got to where we got, and that we teach, obviously, Akashic Records level 1, level 2. We have other courses, of course, but I think it pushes people to also come to us because they feel like they have a gift and they want to figure out, and some of them might be with the Akashic Records. And I think the Akashic Records is something so universal because it's our soul's book. And I think we all have the right, and I always say that, and we say that in the course, you have the right, it's your soul's book. You have the right to access that information. level 1 to level 2, opening other people's, that is a calling. That is a purpose. That is a mission you feel. That is something you feel called to do.
And I think that people would think that level 2 is harder.
It's actually easier.
But it's easier.
That was my journey completely. Level 1 was opening my own records, and I talk about this in so many episodes. I've repeated this 100 times. So hard. Yeah. Today it is not, but it was. And I think level 2 helped me kind of have more confidence in my own intuition, my own guidance. The pandemic also was huge for me in listening to myself and connecting and really trusting that it's a journey. And I think it'll just get easier with time because of the practice and the connection and the confidence and the trust.
Then you trust yourself, and you know not to override things that you're getting. Mm-hmm. Like that's something that we teach in level 2 Akashic Records. Like anything that comes in, don't ignore it because there's a reason for it. It might not mean anything to you, but to the person it might mean something.
The journey, right? The journey in the sense of your purpose and mission. People get frustrated sometimes, like, I'm passionate about this, but it's not happening. I'm like, be guided. Like, you don't know what one thing you learned today could. And I look at my path, I look back, I'm like, holy crap, like everything aligns. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some things that I could have maybe avoided, like suffered less, like let go of earlier. Cool.
But that's because we're not coming out of our comfort zone sooner. That's basically that.
Yeah, and I know that. That's my own internal struggle. I get that, and I'm working on that, and I've gotten better at it. But I'm not hard on myself. I'm just saying in the sense of everything's led me to now do this work. I don't think I would have felt prepared if I hadn't been through everything I've been through. And that goes for readings as well, because a lot of times people are like, why is this information coming through now? Well, because a year ago you weren't ready to hear that. If I had said that to you a year ago, you would have been like, what the heck? Yeah. Like there's a process to everything. And I think as we expand and we become more trusting of our own gifts, more information can come through our own records or through somebody giving us a reading.
And also, not even that, as a reader, the more open you become to things, or maybe you go down a route, then people that need that type of information. The good example is I started studying all the galactic information, all the universal stuff, so it's like an add-on. And then after I started studying that, I started getting people coming to me that were like, I really want to know the origins of my soul, and is there another planetary system matrix that my soul... And that's when I was like, that's so funny that they're asking me that, because I just started like looking into all that. I'm like really into it now. And now it's just like, it comes up in so many readings, but people are so ready for it. Yeah. It's like, I guess I had to prepare for it as well, right?
Yeah, it's the way we explain it in I don't know if it's level 1 or I think it's both level 1, level 2. It's like the more you follow your intuition and what you're interested in and those things you want to read about and that book you want to read and that video you want to listen to or that podcast, like that's information that's going into your brain. And then when you connect or you channel or heal, that information is integrated inside of you and you're able to channel more about it because they use your brain.
They use your brain.
You connect through your brain. The information, especially I can't speak for other people with other gifts or other methods or modalities, but the Akashic Records is information. So the kind of information you have stored in your brain and what you're interested in will probably be what you attract as well.
Yeah. It's like a frequency because it's like blocks of information that come into your brain, and if there's no frequency that matches it, it can't come out in words because you don't know how to verbalize that and you don't fully understand it. So it's like a frequency thing, which is another way of saying what I was told. Remember when I was having the dream premonitions for like 3 years, and then I went to get an Akashic Records reading, and they were like, yeah, you can get rid of your dream premonitions if you learn to use your brain for something other than just thinking, mm-hmm. right? And that was their way of saying, we need to use your brain for you to begin to receive the messages.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you're explaining. It was just they were saying it in another way.
In a different way. That's true. But I personally have to say that I get a lot of readings where people are asking me about their gifts, their purpose, their mission, what's holding them back, the beliefs or the fears, where they're coming from, the origin, if there's anything in their timeline or past lives holding, like people will ask these questions. It's beautiful. It's amazing.
The questions are getting much more interesting as the more we develop the collective. It's like the questions are getting, I guess you could say, better. Whereas before it might have been like, I want to ask about like an ex-partner, and I want to ask about, which is still something people ask, like I want to ask like what was I supposed to learn, or why did that happen? It was more like, okay, no. it used to be more like, why did it happen? Why did I have to live that scenario with the person? And now the questions have changed the way people ask them, and they're like, what was I supposed to learn from that?
Or is there anything pending that I haven't learned?
Yeah.
Is there anything still residual because they might still feel tied to the person or the situation?
Yeah.
Or it's repeating.
Or why does this keep happening? So it's just beautiful the way people are realizing things, and you can totally tell it by the way they're the different way they're asking. I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years now. The questions really did change in 14 years.
I've seen that even in the years I've been doing it.
Yeah, like the last 3 years, they've drastically changed.
Agreed, 100%. People are just so much more aware that there's so much more than what we just see here.
Yeah. And men, I've said this before, like,
I agree.
way
It's
more
beautiful.
men are prepared for readings, open to them. And
Lucy and I did a dual reading. I got emotional at the end of the reading when we were finishing.
Yeah.
Remember, I started crying.
I don't remember
Because
now.
it was this energy, this person's energy just got me so emotional, this man. And I said, you're giving me hope. You're giving me hope that more people are waking up.
Yeah.
Because it's not about gender or if you're a man or you're a woman, but it's this openness that I keep seeing in men that
I think it's because
feels
they've been
beautiful.
too busy trying to just make an ends for their family, and I think guys have been programmed from like from I don't know, school era, where like you got to get a job and you're gonna have this structured family and you're gonna be the one that brings in like what needs to be brought into the family. Obviously, it's changed with time, and so now it's almost like they have more leeway to think about other things and discover other things.
Healing.
And also,
I think it's also the responsibility that they're feeling on their shoulders to say, well, I need to heal for my family. That's also part of this.
Yeah, it could be.
I feel that at least from the readings, and for them to figure their own story, their own wounding, their own trauma, so that they can be more present for the people around them. Because one thing is you being there and sustaining and bringing money or having a job, but another thing is when you're there and you're really there. Because when we're wounded and we're struggling, it's hard for us to be there for the people that we love fully. And these people want to do it. They want to be there. And you can feel that, and you can see the struggle, and you can, I feel everything, right? So I feel it. And you feel too, because we've done dual readings, and I feel, and you go into the feeling, into the emotion. But it's as if things have shifted, and there's like permission now for men to see themselves and to be able to work on that.
And believe
I
in
think that
something
also
greater.
all of the feminine, like the divine feminine, holding space for that too, because if that wasn't happening through healers or partners or mothers, and it's funnily enough today's Father's Day.
Oh, that's right.
So it's interesting we're going into
this.
this. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Do you know the interesting thing about that feminine energy? So we're supposed to carry all of them. So we're supposedly our reality is so we live in the Trinity program. So everything has to run on that Trinity program. So it's the feminine, the masculine, and the product, or you can call it the son. Like how people do the praying. It's like the Father,
The Son, Holy Spirit.
Holy Spirit. There's the Trinity, right? So supposedly to become complete, you need to be able to carry 3. We're all supposed to carry 3 of those. But when we had this like really dense world we were living in, where like the Matrix kind of took over, and we signed up for a duality program, then we separated, and so we had people that were carrying the masculine majority energy, and then people that were carrying the feminine majority energy. And to become whole, you needed to bring a couple together, so they can have the product, the Trinity. So the 3 was put together. But we're going into era where we're doing the quantum leap, and the idea of the quantum leap is you need to become your everything. So your guru, your master, blah blah blah, all that stuff.
Your own guide.
But you need to become your own Trinity. So you need to become your father. You need to become your mother, and then you need to take care of that child and have that child, but then be the child.
That's interesting. I love that.
So
But
from now
if you
on, we
think-
choose
yeah.
partners if we want them, but we no longer have to bring them in to be able to have a complete energy circle. Before we had to. That was the difference.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot to say
And I'm not
about
talking
that,
about
but yeah.
like boy and girl. I'm talking
Yeah.
about, it could be a couple of 2 guys and they're a couple, and they adopt a kid. They're still respecting the Trinity program, because one of them will carry more feminine energy, one of them will carry more feminine and more masculine energy, and then one will carry will be the product, will be a kid. Even if it's adopted, it's still the Trinity program inside of the family structure, right? So it's not about boy and girl; it's about the energy. But now we have to carry inside of us all 3 of those energies.
It always starts with us. what we carry within ourselves to be able to attract that.
Yeah. So we're getting rid of our karma. That's part of like what it is about quantum leaping. Like you get rid of karma. So then from now on, the idea is that you don't have this toxic relationships anymore because you don't need to bring in another energy that's your opposite energy to complete and respect the Trinity program. You're all of those, but now you choose someone because you just want to share life with them. There's no karma. It's only dharma and it's sharing. But we don't need each other to be complete. We just share while we're complete.
So what would that mean for soul contracts?
Well, that ends once you leave the third dimension, the third density. So those that are doing the quantum leap, karma ends there. You were like, oh, that. So people that are being like, you know, the days like yesterday where you have like a really massive solar flare, you feel like, I don't know, I'm crying, and like you could feel something, or you're exhausted, and then you just cry and you don't know why. That's how you begin to release all that stuff. It's also becoming very conscious of like patterns, toxic choosings, toxic relationships, things like that. So it's something that's happening on a more subconscious energy level, but then the work is being done on a conscious level, and then karma begins to end the cycle of karma. It's not going to happen in a year. It's not going to happen in 2 years. It depends on the person. It could happen in 10 years, but the process begins. And so you begin to choose from a place of harmony and not lack of. That's another way of saying it, really.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's interesting time. It's a really interesting time to be alive. And if you're listening to this podcast, you're open to hearing this stuff, which probably means that your soul signed up for the quantum leap, which probably means you're in the process of figuring it out and doing it. So that's what we're all doing, really. Yeah.
Massive expansion.
It's big.
For our souls, yeah.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, I think this is why also, if we're talking about purpose and mission, how we all feel so called to go into the healing space and share our gifts and really connect with our purpose and mission, because that's going to help expand us and connect to that. Because our healing brings us into that integration of the Trinity, right?
Yeah.
Only from that space, because if we're not looking at those things that we need to look at, it'll probably hold us back.
Yeah. That's why, like, the whole twin flame, you even sent me, like, a thing. The
Yeah.
whole twin flame thing triggers me. Well, I'm like, people need to stop looking for their twin flame and twin flame drawings and figure out who your twin, but find out. No, you're your own full picture. There's no half of you. And if there is a fractal of your soul somewhere, which there could, that it's very normal and it's very common, and most of us might have a ton of fractals right now, even up to 11, for example. You could have a ton of fractals on Earth. But the idea is the fractal becomes its own independent self, and at no point do you need to re-encounter your fractal to be whole, ever. That's not the point of the whole reason why the fractal's divided. It's to have different experiences.
I don't think they ever show it to me that way anyway in the records. It's like, I only see the contracts. Yeah. Maybe that's just because of the work and what I'm studying and what my soul's always kind of moved into. I don't know.
I don't think they'll ever tell you if there's another fractal of you, and I don't think they'll ever tell you if you know another version of a fractal. That's information that's just going to affect the conscious brain that is the human that limits us. So that's why you don't see in the Akashic Records. Not going to tell you, but I know the information of how fractals function because studying the universal stuff. They're never going. I don't think. I can be stand corrected one day, guys. If I get a reading and they say information, I will let everybody know. But I believe that they will never tell us, at least in the mental state that we're all capable today, because you'll start leaning towards that fractal, and you're probably not supposed to. You're not supposed to know. You're not supposed to know. Yeah. It's like the veil. The veil was on purpose, because if you knew who you are and where you came from and all the experiences you had and how actually to get out of here and how to do it and all these really great information, there would be no limiting experience, right? Everything that like is upon our reality has a purpose, just like the veil, and just like not knowing if there's another twin, aka call it twin flame and make it romantic if you'd like, right? But it's just a fractal of your soul that's independent and will continue to be independent and continue to expand and become its own individual person. That's really what it is. Soulmate's another
Soulmate's another thing. Yeah. And what I get asked a lot in readings is more about the soul or I pushed for people to really understand their soul contract with people and the patterns that they're in and why that's coming up. Because understanding that brings that
it's a conscious part of it.
Yeah, you bring it to the consciousness, and I think that gives a sense of being able to accept things,
let go,
and
I had that.
work through what you need to.
I remember that my biggest experience was that.
Yeah,
I was told
it's
something,
huge.
and I was able to let go of something that I had been...
Oh, and you guys, if you'd known Lucia at that time, I didn't even recognize her. It was a tough time.
Wow. Yeah.
It was all consuming until that information came through. It's like she could not let it go.
I could not let it go. And then they just said, this is the experience from another lifetime with that individual. This is what happened. And this is why this is repeating. And I was like, oh, okay. It's like in 5 minutes, I let it go.
You just integrated that and you're like, okay, I accept it.
I guess I didn't take it personal anymore. You stop taking, when you get a Akashic Records reading and they give you information that has to do with the two souls and explain something maybe hard, negative, or like dense that happened but in this lifetime with that person, and they explain it in a way where it explains every feeling you had and the experience you had, and you don't feel either personally attacked or you don't feel let down.
You accept it.
And you're like, okay.
You can move forward.
It's the weirdest thing.
You can let
to
it go.
think about it
like
from outside. But yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Or just get answers on why some things feel so heavy, or why there's things in the way.
Yeah.
Not necessarily relationships, but with purpose and mission, I think, at least I can only speak for the people that we attract through the podcast, the community, readings. It's as if a lot of people are now ready to connect to their purpose and mission. Either it comes through as a part of their healing, or part of a gift that they need to share, or what they need to do for the world, or information that they need to put out. It's all coming together. People are like ready for that. So I guess that's why we also wanted to talk about it today, because I feel like this is also a message, like if you're getting that pull,
don't ignore it.
Don't ignore it, because you just try to understand as much as you can, either through connecting to yourself, your intuition, or getting a reading, or getting the answers you need, however you need to get it,
Yeah, just clarify that for yourself.
Yeah.
And go move forward.
Yeah.
Get it going. Get the ball rolling.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, get out of your comfort zone. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest problem with humanity, but it's really what limits us. The fear of the unknown. And literally, if you were to come out of that state, come out of your comfort zone, usually life gets so much better.
Yeah.
And you're like, what if I hadn't done that scary thing that I did? What if I done that? You just could miss out on so much if you don't do it. That should be scarier than anything. Right?
I think of it that way today. I think I put up a post, actually I shared a post today of saying like 5 ways to know you've made the right decision. Mm-hmm. And one of them is like, is what you're deciding or doing aligning you with the version of yourself? I don't remember the exact words, but that you're wanting to connect with, or that you're trying to put out to the world. Is that a limiting version of you? Is that an expansive? And the expansive version will never stay in its comfort zone.
Yeah. It's
Ever.
like when Joe Dispenza says, when you do the meditations and you have like a goal and stuff, and Joe Dispenza says, who do you have to be for that to be part of your reality? Who is it that you have to be? And then envision yourself being that person, and then become that person. And
that person already exists. That version of you already exists. I've talked about this on the podcast before, like when I had gone to Uruguay last year, April, May, and I'd said so many things came together, and the version of myself, and that was just the beginning of it.
Yeah.
That version of me. Today I had like this, I was talking to 2 friends, and they were asking me like, how are you doing? Because we were talking about them, and they're like, how are you doing? I was like, I'm good. Like, things can
but
get,
it's also
there's
like,
ups and
it sounds
downs.
like they asked you, like, because someone would be like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
No, it sounded like they actually asked you.
Yeah, but then I start talking about the work I'm doing, how passionate about what I'm studying, the workshops, because this weekend, today's Sunday,
that's right, yeah.
Yesterday and today, so Saturday, the 17th, and today, Sunday, the 18th, I'm starting to offer these kind of workshops. I'm calling it family system and ancestral healing workshops. I'm really feeling called to work with people in groups, because I feel like there's just something about this work in group, and the family constellations training. It's pushing me in that direction.
It's really powerful work. It's really good.
It's very powerful, and we had these beautiful sessions. We're doing them. They're small groups right now, but it will be something that I already know. I've already decided I'll be offering it to the Patreon, to the community. I'll see if I can do that monthly or if that'll be like bi-monthly or quarterly. We'll see how that works. But I know it's something that I need to offer to the community, and it'll be a service I'm going to start to offer to people. And then once the family constellations comes in, but going back to that, it was like this talking and saying, answering that question and really going into the answer and feeling what I was saying. I was like, it made me really think about where I'm at today and how much I've had to trust to get to where I am today, and like how beautiful that is, and how I still have a long way to go, but I'm pushing myself constantly. And there's moments I doubt it, and I want to be real with that, because I think a lot of people are like, well, yeah, because you've gotten, like, no, like, I doubt myself all the time.
I think everybody does, though.
Yeah, but I think more when you're trying to really connect to your gifts and your purpose and mission, you have to move away from that doubt, self-doubt.
Yeah, but I think everybody has, I mean, we were just talking about the community we have, right? And how everybody has a bunch of gifts, and they're offering it to each other to practice and to get confidence in it. And what I love that they're doing is they're giving each other feedback inside of the group, like chat. And so like this person, I'm not gonna name names, of course, but like this person gave me a reading today, and she was amazing because of this. And like they're boosting each other. Yeah. And so you're always gonna have a little bit, when you're starting something new, you're always gonna have a little bit of like fear that you're not gonna do it right, or you didn't get it right yet. And like you gotta find people that are gonna be like, dude, what you did just really helped me.
But also give you the constructive criticism of like, is there anything that you'd want me to would change? Is there any way you would shift the session, or would it be in a different order, or what did you feel? I think most people are just grateful for you to help them.
Yeah,
that's the energy I get for most people, even with any. I think if you go into things with the right intention and you really open your energy, you create a safe container, you do things with love, you get out of your own way, people are going to be grateful.
Yeah.
People will be grateful, and you will help them. You're going to do something to shift their energy.
Yeah.
Even in the short term, sometimes long term, depends.
Yeah, sometimes you'll hear back after a reading and someone will be like, dude, I had a reading with you blah blah months ago, and you as a reader don't remember anymore like the details. Yeah. But this really helped me, and I just wanted you to know that this and this and this and this. And you're like, wow. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah, but I think with purpose and mission and your work...
And it doesn't have to be only one thing.
No.
I can give the example of myself right now. So I do Akashic Records readings, and we do the whole community thing and all that. And for years I've done it, and I felt like really awesome every time I had a reading and someone came back and was like, dude, that helped me so much, and I feel so good, and thank you, and da-da. But now I'm doing tangible physical assistance with my massages, and it's going like really well, and it feels so good, because before I only helped people internally, right? Because of the Akashic Records and the spiritual stuff is an internal thing, and now I'm actually helping people change externally, and it's this really weird balance. And that's another reason why we say like sometimes your purpose isn't one thing. There's this really weird balance where I'm helping people with their external body and their internal world, and I just feel like somehow it makes complete sense and how it's supposed to be that way. And like I said, like you were saying, I trusted it. I was in Holland studying this, and I was like, I'm in a small town in the north. Like no one's gonna want to come all the way here to get a session. Like, how is this gonna even work out, right? And I was just practicing, on whoever I could practice on. And now I'm here, and I'm like, wow, now it makes sense. But I just had to follow what I knew I had to, I did it because I felt it. And I didn't know why, or how it was going to look.
You just followed your heart.
Yeah.
Your passion. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot to unpack. And then somebody gets a reading, and it will be like this information and that information and that information and that information. And the person has to like leave the reading and take a moment and like think about everything that they got. And it's almost like they take whatever time they need, and things start kind of like clicking. Oh, that's why this. And they might have not gotten it right away during the reading, because there's a lot of information fast. Yeah, it's like, oh, now this. Oh, because of this. Oh, she probably said this because of this. Oh, they were saying this because of that. And da-da-da-da, and it all starts making sense, right? It's good to stay in that. It's good to stay in that like mojo, like that energy, because after that, like the day-to-day can come in, and you can lose that like excitement.
Yeah.
and like maybe go back into your comfort zone, sort of like go back into the little shell. So I think it's important to like bring yourself back constantly. Go, okay, no, I gotta do this.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. But get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, we've said that so many times on this podcast.
Gosh,
it's crazy.
I mean, it's been a struggle. I'm gonna be real. For me, it's something I fight with every day. And my routines are important, but then I know that I like even offering the workshops, I was like so nervous.
It was out of your routine, yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I opened my records, I opened the group's records, I connected with people's energy, and I allowed it to be what it needed to be. Sometimes you have to surrender.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's getting out of the control, right?
Yeah.
That we think that if everything is the exact way it should be, it's like, no, just start doing it.
Yeah. That's true. I just wanted, before I forget, I wanted to talk about in July I begin running it runs for a whole month. It's my angelic program, and my angelic program is all about empowering yourself and rituals and alchemy. And so it's basically a downloaded program that came from the angelic realm, where it's the angels trying to help people we talked about matrix and moving into the quantum leap. Well, it's all about taking the steps to release that karma that we were talking about previously, to start living in dharma, to disconnect from the matrix. There's alchemy processes for all of that. And it's a week process where it's like 1 week is we work on dharma, 1 week we work on karma, 1 week we work on like disconnecting from the matrix and things like that. So, and then you even do a new contract for yourself. It's like you do the decree with the universe. So there's a bunch of things going on with that program, and it runs for a whole month. So it's work that you do for a whole month with rituals and alchemy, and then you receive at the end of the week a distance angelic healing that accompanies all the work that was previously done by you specifically. So you're empowering yourself and you're taking the steps. You're just being told how to do it, right? And so I had some people say that they had issues signing up because the link wasn't properly working or whatever, and I fixed it. So we'll leave the link below for the angelic program. So just remember that the last day to sign up is July 2nd. I had some people messaging me saying it only shows up for July 3rd. That's because they're on the other side of the world, the other side that I'm on. So for them, it's showing up for the 3rd and not the 2nd. But that's the last day you can sign up, and that's the only, just whatever date shows up, because it'll tell you July 2nd or 3rd. Just click that, and whatever hour it says to pick, it's like a formality. You just have to click it. It doesn't mean anything because the program is a whole month long. Yeah. So it's just a formality. I couldn't find another way to book it easily. But it's a really cheap price for everything you get. It's 55 euros, and you can easily just pay with a link. Everything's already set up, so it's really easy for everybody. And yeah, you'll be getting 4 emails with all the steps and alchemical processes. You get to watch a video of me explaining the whole thing. And then on Sundays, you would lay down and relax and receive the angelic healing that accompanies the work you just did. And I ask that anyone who's looking to create the quantum leap and the changes and release their karma and begin living dharma, I recommend those people sign up, because that's the whole idea of the program. And the reason for July is because there's a massive amount of energy coming in to assist us with that. So I thought it was a great time to do that. So please, I put the limit for signing up because last time I had people sign up last minute.
It's too much work last minute. No,
they didn't have enough time to get the stuff done because it's a lot of like writing and universal decreeing and all stuff.
It's very hands-on.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I love it. It makes you feel empowered. You get to write the stuff yourself. But yeah, just wanted to remind everybody that. So just check the link out in the bottom and email me if there's any issues or anything.
Yeah, we'll put that link there in the show notes, and then we'll also put the links to any of our courses that we mentioned here.
Yeah, Akashic Records level 1,
level 2, soul contracts as well. But the soul contracts link.
And then we want to keep inviting everybody who's feeling the pull to come be part of the community.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing things happening between the members, a lot of connecting, a lot of making each other feel...
Meeting in person.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of meetups in person, like in areas.
So
it's so cool to see. And that's just the beginning. Yeah. Hopefully, everything's going to expand more.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know if this year or whenever we can make it happen, we're going to do a meetup.
We're trying.
Sure.
We're going to try,
Yeah, we're going to do our best.
Yeah. We have quarterly calls, so we all get on Zoom calls and we all see each other's faces and
book club.
Talk about whatever we want. The book club, where we vote a book.
We vote.
Vote a book. Oh my God, I lost it.
You got stuck there.
Well, I guess I was like, vote a book, and then those that want to read it, and then we just talk about it, whatever we want to talk about that book. Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming up soon, actually.
Yeah, July is the call. So
Yeah,
it's
like
a 2-hour
next
call
month.
because it's 1 hour for the book club and then 1 hour
For just like community call.
the community call. Yeah.
Where we all just connect. Yeah, that's what I like about the workshop now. There people are meeting each other on these calls
Like
because it's
more.
very interactive.
Yeah.
So people that have never actually spoken face to face or seeing each other on Zoom, it's amazing.
That's really cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I just feel
I'm
like
getting a little goosebumps.
I know. I feel like it's like a cute family. It's too cute.
It's really nice, yeah. And I like that it just kind of, we started with also the Soul Tribe Social Club.
Yeah.
Which is more about anybody starting a business. We did a call. I'm going to be doing a call about, because we have a couple members that are very, very good and they've worked in the field of marketing or media.
Yeah.
So we're all helping to bring forward information so people can empower themselves to start their own business and start to do their own things, especially if somebody doesn't have enough money,
And even to start their own YouTube channels and their Instagrams and how to promote that. Like, that's hard stuff to get into if you've never done it before.
Yeah. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into newsletters. I have to actually set that up. I'll probably set that up for next month just because of all the workshops I'm doing right now. Mm-hmm. It's a bit much, but basically we'll probably all go on the call and I'll show how to create a newsletter and like what that means and why it's so important.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then it's interesting because if you can't make the call, we always just put that up on the portal, and then anybody can watch it whenever they feel like it. And remember, like if you sign up, you're like, I'm gonna try it for a month. You have access to all of the content, all of the videos, all of the audios.
You can get exhausted from listening to us.
It's too much.
It's too much stuff. It's a lot.
It's a lot, but you have access to it all so that you can go back and you're like, oh, I like what they talked about a couple months ago. You go back to that and then you can check it out.
We also put tags on things. So you can like put, I don't know, let's say you're into aliens. You just like, you search for aliens and all the episodes that we tagged the word alien in will show up. Like, I like that. That's cool. I always make sure to put tags.
Make sure to put tags too. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. It's been nice to see a lot of new members come in, and
it's been so
everybody
exciting.
connecting to their purpose and mission, and just getting the strength through the community. I think is really important. It's something that was important to us when we started the podcast.
And that's what a fifth dimensional community is.
Yeah,
we're creating it, and it doesn't have to be tangible because it's 5D. 5D doesn't care about tangible.
Yeah.
So it's the future.
It feels tangible though.
It feels tangible because you have the group there to talk to them anytime, and there's always someone that's ready to respond. Yeah. And there's different time zones.
Yeah. But I guess it's just an episode to really just encourage you all to follow through with.
Get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, what you need to do, how you need to not look back and regret anything, right? And saying, this is my life, this is my incarnation, my soul is guiding me in this direction, I'm going to follow it, I'm going to follow my heart, my passion, my desire, get out of my own way, trust, find the people, the community that supports me through that, and make it happen. Like, it's time.
I think I can't say anything better. You just ended with
the
best words.
Man, thanks, Akashic Records.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. I actually don't want to drop the mic because it's probably going to make a huge loud sound.
Oh, she's still, guys, it's going to be 20 years later and she's still going to be complaining about my mic.
I'm still not using my microphone. I have to test it out again.
God, you're always
It's so funny actually because we have a specific chat group for the Soul Tribe.
And everyone's like,
social
we already know Lorena doesn't like
we know Lorena's really particular about her microphones. Yeah. I was like,
I saw that comment the other day.
That hit hard.
I saw it in the comment in the group and I said, finally someone understands me.
I was like, oh, that hit me right in the center.
You're very picky about your mic.
I love a good sounding mic. I don't know. It's just me. Because I like when I edit and I listen to how crisp it is. It just sounds,
I'll bring ice chips next time.
It's so nice. It feels good in my ears. I don't know. That's just me.
Okay,
anyway,
I guess you're into that. All right.
Maybe it's like ASMR stuff. I don't know.
Wait, what does that mean? Should I ask?
I don't know what it signifies, but it's like there's people that just make, it's like these sounds and people are talking into their mic and they're just making these little sounds and it feels really nice. And it brings a sense of like calm and
It's like
peace.
the contrary to those people that when they hear you chew, they get really angry.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's the contrary of that.
Yeah.
This duality world, there's both.
Maybe it's dual, I don't know. But yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Alright.
I hope everybody liked the episode. Come out of your comfort zone and just
Follow your heart.
Yeah, don't limit yourself anymore because you deserve better.
Yeah. We love you, and we'll see you guys next week with a new episode. Check out all the links on the bottom, and make sure you go follow us on Instagram as well, because we're always posting stuff there. We're posting about the podcast, but any sales or anything that goes on as well in the community. So DM us also. Tell us what's going on and what you're feeling, and
If there's any subjects.
Anything you guys want us to
about.
talk about. We always want your feedback, and we're listening. All right. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.